Okay, we're in the middle of a sugya. The Bryce said earlier that that you can't get married Friday night because the bia is asa. The bia would be asa Friday night. Gemara has a shaila. How do we view the dam? How do we view the dam? Is the dam mifkat pocket? That means it's like loose and not absorbed in the walls, or it's michbar, it's absorbed in the walls. If one has relations and it's mifkat pocket, so the chayra, what's the tut stadim? What's the tzad that it should be mutter? Is that what you don't need the blood? You don't need the blood, and therefore you're not mechaven for the blood. It's not a big deal. On the other hand, if you mechaven for the pesach, making the pesach, then that would be boina. Okay, then you have to go into shaila whether davar shem miskaven is mutter or rasa. Whether Allah is like Rav Shimon that it's mutter, Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda that it's asa. And even you can say Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda, it's hard to say it's mutter because it's mekalkel, because of the sul is worth less. There's another sat to the shaila whether it's chubi michbar. So that's basically where we asked the shaila, we didn't answer the shaila, and we're up to vav amid aleph. We're up to vav amid aleph, and again, shaila is whether one can go ahead and get married Friday night because the bia would be asur or mutter. B'bei Rav Amri Rav, in the yeshiva of Rav, they said the name of Rav. Shari, it would be permitted. It would be permitted. Ushmul asar, and Shmuel says it's asar. Ben Hadoi Amri, in Hadoi they would say Ben Amri Rav asar Ushmul Shari. So each one we have machloikis, but each one held. It's Rav was mekel in his place in his yeshiva, and Shmuel was mekel in his place in Nardoi. Rav's yeshiva was in Surah, right? Surah, and Shmuel was in Nardoi. Vavam and Aleph at the top. Vavam and Aleph at the top. We're answering the shaila that we had yesterday. The simanecha and the siman is elu makilin la'atzman, ve'elu makilin la'atzman. Each one is mekel for themselves. So in the yeshiva of Rav, they were mekel to say it's mutter to get married Friday night. And the yeshiva of Shmuel in Nardoi, in his place, he was mekel. So Pashas, you hold that what? There's two ways to learn. Either he holds davar shem miskaven like Reb Shimon, or he holds like Reb Yehuda and it's mekalkol. Those are two tzadim how to learn the heta, right? Either davar shem miskaven is mutter, or even you hold davar shem miskaven is asa, but it's we mekalkol the eitzel the pesach. Says the Gemara, the Rav Shari, could Rav possibly go ahead and say it's mutter? The Omer Rav Simi Bar Chizkiya Mishmei de Rav. Hi Musachrayu din Zaisa. This rig of the barrel, this rig in the barrel. So what's pshat is that they would have a barrel of beer and they would stuff it up with a rig. So when you go ahead and stuff it up, you would go ahead and it would, according to Rashi, you would have a problem of schita. They would go ahead. Its stopper was made of a rig. It was and it wasn't a cork. It was absorbed in the rig was the liquid. By shoving it in, you have a schita problem. Now that certainly is davar shem miskaven. You don't need the liquid coming out of it. You're not mechaven for it. So if Rav holds davar shem miskaven is mutter, then it'll be okay. So l'chayra, well, if he says it's us, it's not okay. So it says the Gemara, asa lahaduka biyum toiva. So that would be asa to go ahead and stick in on yontif. That would be asa to stick in on yontif. Okay. So now you say that Rav says it's permitted. Why? Because davar shem miskaven is mutter. Yeah. In other words, Rav would permit, guys. Let's go. Outside. Rav would permit a relations Friday night because davar shem miskaven, not miskaven, would be mutter. Yeah. Yet now going ahead and saying by yontif, you're taking this rig, you're putting it in, it's asa to do. It's a davar shem miskaven. You told me it's mutter, so obviously he's holding it's asa. So if he holds davar shem miskaven as asa, how does he permit to be a Friday night? If he holds davar, you see from the fact on yontif that he does not permit you to go ahead and stick this rig in that it's asa because davar shem miskaven is asa. So how could he possibly permit what a be a Friday night? It's also davar shem miskaven. So we have conflicting views of Rav. Yes, Dov.
Is there a reason they say saying Yom Tov and not Shabbos?
Lav dafka. Certainly, kol shekain. It's a bigger chiddush even. So anyway, and for the Gemara, behachu by the rig, by the suchud and isaisa, stuffing of the barrel. I feel Reb Shimon moida. Even Reb Shimon would be moida. The Abaye v'Rava dami travayu Moide Rav Shimon b'psik reisha v'lo yamus. We mentioned yesterday, Rav Shimon's moida, if you cut off the head of a chicken, it's not going to die. In other words, we spoke out the sugya. Yes, Davar Shem Eskavin, what's the classic case? Where you're taking a bench and you're schlepping the bench and you want to get from point A to point B, but along the way, you're being over on chayrish, you're being plowing. You're not mechavim for the furrows. You want to get it to point B. Shmuel, who says it's mutter, if it's a thing that weighs 50 tons or whatever it weighs, and you physically can't possibly lift it, would agree that it's asa, because it's not possible to avoid. It's inevitable. That hechatimsa has to be that you can pick up the bench. Over here, it's not possible to stuff the barrel up without it coming out. So really, Rav holds Davar Shem Miskavin is mutter. And therefore, one can get married Friday night because it's mutter. We have to see why Friday night it's not a psik reisha. Friday night it's not a psik reisha. In other words, it's not inevitable that you break the psulim. No, it's no. We're going to see in a second. We're going to see in a second. We're going to see in a second. So it's comes like a shmak by the reg. There, it's not possible to avoid. So you could hold Davar Shem Miskavin as mutter and still be asa because it's inevitable. It's psik reisha. Masha'en came by Bia Friday night. It's a Davar Shem Miskavin. You're not mechavim to be the pesach to be the isha, and memel it's mutter. Now we have to see why that's not a psik reisha. The Gemara is going to discuss that. Says the Gemara, "V'amar Rav Chia Barashi, Amar Rav halacha Reb Yehuda." The halacha is like Reb Yehuda. So now you have a problem. Now, if he holds Davar Shem Miskavin is like Reb Yehuda's asa, why are you able to live with the woman Friday night? Rav Chana Barami Amar Shmuel alach Reb Shimon, and therefore it will be permitted. So you have a Rav Chia bar Abba Masni Lo B'Loi Gavri. Rav Chia bar Abba learned this without mentioning any names, and that Rav Amar alach Reb Yehuda Shmuel alach Reb Shimon. So here's your problem. You're telling me that Rav says it's mutter to go ahead and live Friday night together with the Isha, but if he holds like Rabbi Yehuda, why should it be? It's a Davar Shem Miskavin's asa, unless you're this mechanical. Okay, says the Gemara, Rav Rabbi Yehuda Svirle, Lahach Lishna. Okay, Rav Rabbi Yehuda Svirle. He holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, now, guys, we can figure this out, right? We could figure this out. Okay? How is it possible for Rav to say Davar Shem Miskavin is usher and yet permit relations Friday night? Is because he'd hold that's mekalkel. Remember, we said that the only time it's usher if it's metaken something, but if it's mekalkel something, Rav Yehuda is mekel. Rav Yehuda Shimon is more mekel, more machmir. In fact, he says right by chayvel only by chayvel there. So he says mekalkel would be permitted if so. Therefore, it's not a problem. He holds by the nezaisa by the reg. Davar Shem Miskavin is asa. Therefore, you can't stick the reg in. You're telling me you're able to get married Friday night? There's two lashonis. There's the lashon of the damas mifkat pocket. So therefore, it's mekalkel. Then he made a pesach. Then he made making a pesach is boina. You're building in the isha, correct? So therefore, he would hold that's a mekalkel. It's mekalkel. If you hold this chaburi michbar, then what? You'd be mekalkel in the chabura. So therefore, we have a way out. Says the Gemara, Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Like Rabbi Yehuda, we understand reg. We don't understand why Friday night he can get married. And lahach lishna, the first lashon that we had yesterday, the Amar dam mifkid pakid, that the dam is not absorbed in the walls. Mekalkel who ate a pesach. It's mekalkel ate a pesach. He says when mekalkel it's muta. Lahach lishna, according to the second lashon, the Amar dam chiburi michbar, that the sulim are connected and you're ripping away from the wall. Mekalkel bechaburahu, mekalkel bechabura, and therefore what it would be muta. Okay, so we have a mahalach. Shmuel would hold like Reb Shimon. So by the nezaisa, he'd say that what? That it's asa, because it's psik reisha. And by Friday night, according to the lashon, that is mekel, it would make a lot of sense, because your Davar Shem Miskavin what would be. But now, l'chayra, You have to answer the side. You have to answer another side over here. Guys, outside. Shmuel held mutter, but he also said hasa. If he holds like Rav Shimon, that Davashem Miskaven is mutter, why would he hold it hasa? We answered Rav, right? In other words, we answered Rav. The Gemara's Mahalach was Rav said it's permitted to get married Friday night. How could he permit it? He holds like Rabbi Yehuda. So he ended up in Achem, he holds like Rabbi Yehuda. And by the rig, you're worried about Schita. But Friday night, it's Makalkal, so you're not worried. Okay, now why did Shmuel hold? Shmuel held like Rav Shimon. We have two Lishonis. So Bishleim is Shita that holds that it's mutter. Very good. He holds like Rav Shimon. Davashem is Gavin's Gavaldik. Good? Maybe. What about this one that sells its Asa? If he holds like Rav Shimon, why would it be Asa? Right? So look at Taisus. La'olam, the second Taisus in the bottom. La'olam Rav Rabbi Yehuda Sfirle. L'Shmuel Nami, Ikka L'Shmuel. L'Shmuel also we can answer. Again, Shmuel holds its Asa. If Rav holds its mutter, Shmuel holds its Asa. La'olam Krev Shimon Sfirle. L'hach Lishna Da'ama Dam Mifkid Pocket, that what the dam is loose, right? And therefore it's not making Chabura. The Pesach Utzarech. Therefore, it's a told of Baina. He needs the Pesach, and that will be the Tzat Aserit. He's building in the Isha. And Lach Lishna, the second Lashon, the Omar Chibur Michbar, L'Dam Utzarech, he needs the Dam, and therefore he's Mekabim for the Dam. He wants to make sure that everyone knows that she's a Basula. So in other words, Taisus is speaking out. The Gemara doesn't speak out the Tzad of Rav Shimon, but it would be the Tzad that would, that even though Dav Hashem Miskavin is Mutta, here it's Dav Hashem Miskavin. He was Miskavin for the Pesach. He wanted for future bias. He wanted it open. So he's mischab for the Pesach. And the tzad that what the dam, he wants the dam. So in other words, it's a dava shemis kavin. It's a dava shemis kavin. Guys, good. Yes. So therefore, it's very geschmack. We have Shmuel who would argue on Rav, even though it was like of Shimon. This is not a case of dava she'enim kavin, right? There was the tzad. The Gemara spoke out the tzadim. This, if he holds its asa, it must be he holds the tzad that he needs the Pesach, he's miskavim for the Pesach, or in the second Lashon Chibur Michbar, he needs the dam, and therefore he's miskavim for the dam. Okay, they're very good. That's the guts of the Gemara. It's nice. Okay, we continue to ask on Rav. Maser Rav Chisda, Tinaikes lo yigiyas mana lerois. But Tinaikes, she didn't reach the age of having a cycle. She's less than 12. She didn't reach the age of having a cycle. Vinisas, and she gets married. So in other words, you know for sure there's no dam nida. B'shama yoimim noisten la arba leilos. You're going to get 4 nights. U'beisil yoimim ad shetichya maka, until the maka of the bia gets better. You're not limited to 4 nights. Ad shetichya maka, until the maka gets better. Higiyas man lirois v'nisas. What? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. Good. Now, higiyas man lirois. V'nisas be'shamay oimim noishna leil rishon. If she mamish is a regular girl, means she's reached a cycle, then she gets 1 night. Beis Hillel oimim and mitzvah Shabbos. And Beis Hillel says you get much Shabbos. Like Beis Shammai, you be able to be multiple biyas 1 night, and like Beis Hillel guys, you get what? Mitzvah Shabbos arba leilos. What's arba leilos? Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Shabbos. You can see where we're going, right? Guys, you can see where we're going, yeah? Amid Beis. My love, the Eloi boil matzi boil. You're giving 4 nights. What does that mean? That they didn't consummate the marriage on Wednesday night or Thursday night. You can consummate it even on Friday night, right? So afilu b'Shabbos, Friday night is Shabbos. So l'chayra kasha on the shita of Rav. We're going to the shita of Rav, who said that it's muta. Amarava loy. Levar mi Shabbos. 4 nights excited from Shabbos. So it wouldn't be consecutive. It wouldn't be consecutive. Amoy Abaya, v'hod ad moitzes Shabbos arba leilos kitani. 1 second. You said 4 nights, but you told me the end. Until moitzes Shabbos. That means if you're getting 4 nights to do the math, it has to be Friday night. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. You can't go ahead and give it teretz. So l'chayr, it's a very shver kasha. How can Rav hold that what? You're not kasha and Shmuel, I guess. Shmuel says it's asa. Or again, the lashon that Rav says it's asa. L'chayr, that's muta. L'chayra, you see that it's muta. Says the Gemara. No. Ella, you're right. Ella amarava kishabal. It's speaking. You get 4 nights after the bia. Now, as a regular woman, you get 4 nights. Furthermore, ikishabal my kamash. What's the chiddush? What's the chiddush? You're giving 4 nights. In other words, what's the shaila? Guys, what's the shaila? The guy gets married. He's boiled Wednesday night. He gets Thursday night, he gets Friday night, he gets Shabbos. So no, what's the Kiddush? What's the Shaila? I mean, what's the Kiddush? Why should it be a problem? Okay, again, this is Dam Basulam. We're not worried. She doesn't have a cycle. No, I didn't say that. She reached a cycle, but it's not Dam Nida. It's not. This is Dam Basulam. This is Dam Basulam. Whereas if she's a Nida, of course, Pearson Nida is a different Shaila, Reb Chaim. Pearson Nida. We're not talking Pearson Nida. We're not talking Pearson Nida. This is all Dam Basulam. This is all Dam Basulam. If it was Dam Nida, you can't get 4 nights. You can't get one.
No, so you're saying you're being harsh because you're supposed
No. Now, so therefore, it's Fred Gemara Ikishabol my Kamashmalon, Kamashmalon, the Shori Lemival B'Shabbos. Now, so what's why? She's not a Basula anymore. Kiddushmuel, Dama Shmuel, Pirza Dechuka, if you have a door, and when you go through the door, you got to push your way in. And as a result, that's the pebbles from the door, you're going to rub off on the door. Mutali Konis B'Shabbos. Even if a result you're going in the wall, it's going to cause tsroiris to go off the wall. So who are then over here, even though the Basulam can sign that it's not completely ripped away, you'll be able to go ahead and complete it. So that's the chiddush. Good. So far, no kasha about on anyone who says that you can't have beer Friday night. Master Rabbi Yosef, Chasin Potem Kriyashma, famous Gemara in Brachis, a Chasin's Potem Kriyashma. Leila Rishain and Motzei Shabbos. Now, why is he pata? Because he's Torah b'mitzvah. What mitzvah? Bia. He's Torah b'mitzvah. Come, we did brachos. Remember this, right? Let's go. Do the bobblehead. Now, this one I think we do all remember. Because this one,
we're still into it.
No, I think this one you don't even learn the Daf Yomi. That's fine. So this one you start with the chavrusa. Anyway, so he from the time he gets married Wednesday, he's pata from Kriya Shema till Motzei Shabbos. Now, why is he put from Kriya Shema till Motzei Shabbos? It must be his Torah thinking about the beer. Friday night, you see that you could be boiled, right? So Kasha and the Madhyama says you can't. So Chasen put from Kriya Shema Leila Rishon ad Motzei Shabbos. Im lo yasa Maisa, if he didn't do the Maisa, my love the Torah the boiling boil. He's not talking that he's Torah that he has to. Mashma that you could have a beer on Friday night. The Torah the loy boil. He's Torah that he's Torah that is not boil. He's Torah that is not boil. That's what he's Torah about. Amalei Rava. When we shim tear the potter, guys, bishlema, if you're worried about doing the mitzvah of Peru Revu, so Torah b'mitzvah is potter. So you'll be potter from Kriya Shema. But if Stamazoi, he's just worried and it has nothing to do with the mitzvah, meaning he's Torah that he didn't do the mitzvah, then there's no reason to potter Kriya Shema. Again, there's a concept of oisik mitzvah potter in a mitzvah, that if you're oisik in the mitzvah, meaning you're Torah thinking about the mitzvah, so I can understand why he's potter from Kriya Shema. But if you're telling me he's not worried that he's going to, he's worried that he didn't, that's not the mitzvah. That's a worry wart. The Torah does not go ahead and say a worry wart. You can't say Kriya Shema. If not, there are many people who never say Kriya Shema. Right? You put the oil. You have people who put the oil. Says the Gemara. When people laugh like that, it means it hits home. Says the Gemara. When we shemtir the pata elamiata. If you're going to tell me being trouble is pata, tavas finasa biyam. Let's say a guy has a cargo. It's on a ship, and he finds out that it's sinking. Hachanami de pata, because he's tired that he's losing money. The chitem you're going to say hachanami. Ein hachanami. He's tired that he's worrying that he's losing money. V'amar Rav Abba bar Zavda Amar Rav Avol chayiv b'chol mitzvahs amuris b'Torah. An avol who is tired is chayiv in all the mitzvahs in the Torah, even Kriya Shema. Chutz min tefillin, the exception of tefillin shnemar behen pe'er. It says that it's a glory for you. So therefore, since an avol, it says percha chavesh olecha. And Avol is me'ula ba'afra, he has on his head dirt, so therefore it's not a pear. So the tefillin is called a pear, and therefore it's not a glory to put on his head. So the only mitzvah he's potter with, the Avol is synonymous with the person whose stamazoi is tarid. He's tarid, yet he's chayiv. So what do you see? Being tarid, is not a reason, so you got a problem. So we have a raya brewer from Kriya Shema that you're permitted to go ahead, and live with your wife Friday night. You have a raya brewer. The fact that you put them Kriya Shema, clearly a raya that what one is permitted to live what with his wife Friday night. So it's kasha in the maniyam you can't. Ella amarava tanoihi. In fact, it's a machlokes tanoim. Machlokes tanoim whether you can get married Friday night or not. The Tanakh Chada one says imloy asa maisa berishain. If he doesn't do the maisa on Wednesday, pata af b'sheni. He's pata from Kriya Shema even on Thursday. The sheni on Thursday. If he didn't do the maisa, pata af b'shlishi. Then he's pata even what? Even on Friday. So obviously what? You can. The Tanya idach rishon b'sheni pata shlishi chayev. And the second brisa says you be chayiv on shlishi. Why? Because there's no patur. So you have machlokes tanoim. This shiloh that we have machlokes between Rav and Shmuel. The earlier guys, the earlier that said ben kach whether you're oinus or not, la yivul tchila loy belel Shabbos loy b'motzei Shabbos. L'chari is keneged. We have a brisa going keneged that. We have a brisa that says that one in fact by Kriya Shema, not a brisa by Nesuin, a brisa by Kriya Shema that we can infer from Kriya Shema that one is permitted to go ahead since he's potter from Kriya Shema Friday night. It must be one is permitted to go ahead and have relations Friday night. The Tanya Ida, okay. The Abaya. Now, Abaya will tell you. Abaya like this. He said Tirda, right? Abaya gave the teres lay tarid. Abaya can stay consistent and explain this machlokes the brisa of lay tarid, meaning he's tarid that he didn't do it, right? It says Abaya hasam nami betir the pligi, right? Hasam nami they're arguing betir. Let's see Rashi here, guys. Let's see Rashi here. Tanoihi says Rashi Tanoihi. Be'ilas chabur b'Shabbos the machlokes tanoim. Uman the asa livel b'Shabbos ketanoi amra. The Shmaitzer, the one who said it's asa is entering a machlokes tanoim. The ikatana achrina the asa lemivel, right? There was a tana that says that it's asa. That's the tana who says that the chayiv say Kriya Shema Friday night, right? Pata, the one who says the pata on the third night is the Kriya Shema. Shlishi chayiv, why? The Shabbos who asa livel. That's that maniyama. Now the Abaya amalacha. Abaya answered before it's speaking with what. You're not worried about doing it. You're worried that you didn't do it. They're also arguing betirda. Again, the machlokes guys by Kriya Shema, whether you say it Friday night or not, whether the chassan has to say it or not, it depends upon what? On tirda. That that you put from Kriya Shema is not because you could in fact go ahead and have relations. Patim Kriya Shema. Someone is mitzvah about not doing the mitzvah is patim Kriya Shema. He's mitzvah that he didn't do it. It's not pshat. He's worried that he did that he has to. He's worried that he didn't. So that kind who says you can't you're chayim in Kriya Shema Friday night, not because you can have relations Friday night, because you're mitzvah mitzvah. The Torah tiered the rishus, and it's not comparable, right? The Kriya Shema is not comparable to what to a tiered rishus. She'ein Sorry, mitzvah. Tzar is not machmas the mitzvah. Afishe velusay mitzvah, even though avelus is a mitzvah. Uman mechayev sava. The one that says you are chayev Friday night sava tir the loy pata. The Rava amad the mutter livol pligi v'hani tanoy kani tanoy. Okay, now Rava says it's mutter to have. Okay, now so we have two ways, guys, to explain Kriya Shema. Guys, we have Kriya Shema. One says chayev Friday night. One says pata Friday night. Rava learned chayev Friday night because you can't. It's us to have relations. Pata Friday night, it's mutter to have relations. Abaya says no. Either way, it's us that have relations. The one that says Yechayiv is why, because even though you mitzvah mitzvah, you still chayiv. The one that says Yepata, that since you mitzvah that you can't perform a mitzvah, you would be pata. Now, late Rava that says the machlokes tanoim, late Rava that in fact is the contingent upon whether one can or can't, right? Is totally another machlokes. Kahani tanoi that argue by Kriya Shema kahani tanoi. The Tanya Hakonis says abasula layibol betchilu b'Shabbos. The Chachamim matirim. Oh, so now very good. The Chacham that mata hold you be pata from Kriya Shema Friday night, and the Tanakama would say what? No, you're chayiv. Man Chachamim Amar Rabbi Reb Shimon. It's Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon by Yochai the Amar Dav Hashem Miskaven is muta. Dav Hashem Miskaven is muta. Okay, so now let's go back to what we said before. Dav Hashem Miskaven is muta. Now l'chayri you got a problem. Why did Reb Shimon say, guys? Barrel, putting the stop in the barrel. It's Dav Hashem Miskaven. You don't want the stita. It's psik reisha. It's going to happen. Good. Isn't blood going to come out? Isn't it inevitable that blood's going to come out? So l'chayra, how even if you're Dav Hashem Miskaven, it's a psik reisha that's going to break the basulim. Good. So it says again that the calculus is spur of he also calculus is chayiv. Rav Shimon holds a kalkal is chayiv. That's a very important point. Rav Shimon is machmir by kilkel. He holds chavola is chayiv. So if you make a chavola in the woman, you be chayiv. You can't say the sort of kilkel. It's a very important kuda. What?
No longer of the Kesuvos, so therefore it's kilkel.
Yeah. Again, but he holds kilkel's also.
Right.
Okay, so now, but it's a psik ratio. So now here's a very interesting story, guys. Now, Hamoider of Shimon psik ratio v'layamus amalei. So Rabbi said to Abaya, right? Loi kahalu bavloyim she'im b'kiyim b'hatiyah, aliyesh b'kiyim b'hatiyah. There are those who are experts in hatiyah. Now, hatiyah seems to be that you can have relations without breaking the basulim. Now, this seems to be a biological phenomena. If you look at Rashi, says hatiyah shematan litstadin ve'ein moitzi dam. You turn to the sides and you're not moitzi dam. So I was always bothered by this. I think Tosfos says one word that clarifies this a little bit. Let's see the Tosfos. Loi kahalu bavloyim she'im b'kiyim b'hatiyah. Pirish, says Tosfos. Eina psik resha. It's not a psik resha. No, it's not guaranteed that you're going to bring blood. And therefore, since you won't, it's a davar shem eskav and it's mutter. The chala olam einoi kimay bavloyim. The whole world's not like the Babylonians that elabikian haim. They're experts. Hilkach shari lehu lemivol. Listen to this. Ubilvad shlo yiskavnu livol beila gemura. Provided you're not mechavin to have a complete bia, right? Now, what does that mean? You know what it means, guys? A complete bia would mean you break through the basulim. Baki b'atiyah means you turn away, that you do not break the basulim. It's not pshat that baki b'atiyah you avoid the basulim. This is very important. It's not pshat that biologically, how do you avoid? You go through a maze and avoid it? It's a membrane. You can't avoid it. So what's pshat? Tosfos says you weren't boiled bia gemura. So what did you do? You stopped by the membrane and you turned. That's what it's mash from Tosfos. It's an eye opener. It really changes everything. It changes. Lenny, you hear? The Baki B'atiyah is not like you think that this phenomena. It seems to be that they're able to turn before breaking the membrane, like Tosfos. That would explain things very, very nicely. It's obscure thing that bothered you for years, right? So now that it really is geschmack. It really is. It's really geschmack. So now Memel is very good. Rav Shimon, who says it's mutter, right? So the one who says that it's mutter to have relations Friday night is what is Dav Shem Eskaven, and it's not a psik ratio because it's Baki B'atiyah. Now, continues the Gemara. So it said, look how the Bavlayim Shein B'kiyim B'atiyah, Eliyesh B'kiyim B'atiyah, and Kain Tyrid Lama. Why these Tyrid? If they're such experts, why can't he say Kriya Shema? Doesn't matter Shein B'akiyah, right? So now Yomru Baki Mutter Shein B'aki Asa. So that, let's say, depends on the person. So the Roiv became him. You go after Roiv. And there seems to be in the Ritva, they wanted to say, and in Achinami, if you're from the Miyat that can't, then you can't. But we don't give a psak like that. It seems that you can. Only Rav Abaya Elamayata. The Gemara is going to say in your base, guys, there was the chassim would have a person who's accompany him, and she would have a woman accompany her. You want to make sure that the basulim don't get lost. You want to make sure that he can't have time as basulim. So Elamayata Sheshvinon, the best man and the best woman, Lama, what do you need there? Mappa Lama. If you're Baki Bati and there's not going to be blood, so why do you need any of these people to ensure that the blood is there? There you're worried maybe you'll see it and it'll be lost. When you see it, maybe be lost. Okay, so far he'll serve. Again, if you hold like Rev Yehuda and Makalko Chabura, if you hold like Shimon that it's muta, it's psik resha, it's not a psik resha. Good, very general. Now, mapis mursa means there's a pus. It's a pus, a pimple, a blister. You have pus, so it's in pain. Says the Gemara, Elmiatish. Maser Ralami, hamapis mursa b'Shabbos, someone who breaks a pus pimple on Shabbos. Im lasles is peh. If his svara is that he wants to make a peh, he's mechaven liyapleis pesach macha. It should be open for the next day. You know, if he wants it being open, then that would be boina, and that would be chayiv. But if it's to take out the lecha, to take out the pus, then pata. So the chayra, this is a raya that it should be what? It should be muta. Like this, if you hold, no, it's dam mifkad pocket would be the same as the pus pimple, right? It says the Gemara hasam pocket v'akar, v'hacha pocket v'layakar. Okay, very geschmack. We spoke at the Mitzias, right? We said that a pus pimple, clearly it's the liquid is contained, you break it, it comes out. Even if you can hold the blood, it's not pshat the blood is waiting there behind the psulim to come out. We said that it's nishtahi and nishtaher. It's not fully absorbed in the wall, but mostly absorbed in the wall. And therefore, that was the shaila. How do we view it? Do we view it as to be mechbar, or do we view it as mifkat pocket? So very geschmack over here. You can't go ahead and compare it to a pus pimple. A pus pimple, clearly it's available. She'en kain by the psulim, ken zayin, it's a little bit what absorbed, and therefore it's hard to say it's very michbar, and therefore will be a problem.